Hi, Dinah. Hi, Zoe. Hi, Pierre.
We're all here now, I think.
So we're starting the live stream.
Welcome to Aflatoun Day 2021. Celebrating.
We're all here now, I think.
So we're starting the live stream.
16 years of empowering children and young people around the world through social and financial education. We missed you last year. The arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic halted the brakes of the world and challenged us in ways that we never anticipated. This year's theme is Share, Inspire, Empower, in order to highlight the many ways that we have had to overcome the challenges of the pandemic. This year, we will also be introducing the first ever Aflatoun Partners Resilience Challenge. Our partners have shared videos highlighting their creative solutions in providing social and financial education during the COVID-19 crisis. So without further ado, let the Aflatoun Day 2021 celebrations begin.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hola, bonjour, merhaba, здравствуйте. Happy Aflatoun Day, happy Global Money Week. Welcome to our online event when we're going to celebrate financial and social education and also celebrate resilience of educators, non-profit organizations, and of course, our youth. My name is Anastasia Pak, Communications Specialist at Aflatoun International, and today is a special day because we will be recognizing Aflatoun Global Network partners who participated in the Aflatoun Partners Resilience Challenge. But before we get there, let me give the floor to our CEO, Roeland Monasch.
Happy Aflatoun Day. It's really great that you have all come together today to celebrate a special day for Aflatoun for Global Money Week. As you know, Global Money Week is a spin-off of Aflatoun Day, the special day to celebrate children and finance. It's a special day today as well because it's a different way than we normally do. Normally we do calls with children. We have done that, of course, this year as well. People have been noticing Zoom and Skype. What Aflatoun has been for many years linking children around the world to talk to each other, to share experiences, come up sharing challenges and solutions on issues around money and children. And we have done that in the past week. We've spoken to children around the world on how they have been coping with COVID and how they saw that policymakers, their families, their schools, their communities should and could respond to the crisis. And some great recommendations have come out of that. Today we are having a special celebration as well because it's a video competition. The team has been Partners Resilience Challenge Award ceremony, and over 60 organizations have submitted videos to Aflatoun. It shows the great engagement and enthusiasm for the team, and I want to thank each and every one of you who have contributed. I'm not going to say too much about it because it's all coming up in a minute. I just want to say thank you for all coming, and I'd like to now introduce you to our very special speaker, Tim Kaiser, who is the expert in the world on financial education. He has just completed a comprehensive review of all the studies on financial education and the impact it can have and the positive impact. So let me stop here, wish you a fantastic day, and thank you all for coming.
Welcoming Tim Kaiser.
Thanks. Happy to be here. So I will probably just start sharing my screen. That should work. Okay, I have 10 minutes to give you a sneak peek at our recent paper, which, as Roeland said, is a global review of the evidence on financial education programs, such as the one delivered by Aflatoun. And this is joint work with Anna Maria Losadi, Lukas Menkov, and Carly Urban. So this is going to be a bit brief, since we don't want to spend a full academic seminar on the paper. So some things may be a bit hard to understand without the context, and I'm also happy to have questions if there's room for it. But if there's anything that's unclear, I'm happy to share the paper afterwards, and it's also publicly available. So the main research question we had for this review was whether financial education interventions generally work. As you may be aware, since you are participating in the Global Money Week, more than 70 countries have already designed or are currently designing national strategies for financial literacy. So the question of effectiveness is quite relevant, I guess, to practitioners in this field. And the purpose of the paper is to derive empirical benchmarks. So we would like to know how well these interventions work, how big the effects are, and maybe learn from best practices and experiences. So as you may know, there has been a first meta-analysis in this field, which has been published in 2014. And that has been widely cited to provide evidence of the ineffectiveness of financial education. So people were quite disappointed. People have developed these priors that all of these interventions are nice, but they don't really work. People were very skeptical whether it's a good use of resources and whether you should do this in schools, for example. There have been other meta-analyses since then, focusing on different outcomes, but the general consensus on this matter has not been too optimistic. But since there are lots of researchers actually studying these programs, so lots of great impact evaluations going on all around the world, and as you can see here, so this is just the number of academic studies published in journals over time. And 2013 has been the last included study in this first, more pessimistic meta-analysis. You can already see that the majority of the work has been conducted in the more recent years. So that alone is reason for us to do an update of the evidence. And I'm going to give you a very brief overview of the results just now. I also looked this up in preparation of this talk, and there are actually 3 Aflatoun studies in our meta-analysis. So there's one study on primary school children in Uganda, published in Evaluation Review. So that's included in our review. That's another study on social and financial education using the Aflatoun program in Rwanda, and then another one in Ghana. So 3 out of 76 studies is actually from Aflatoun. So you have quite a share in this evidence base. And actually, most of the programs here are also effective, by the way. So what did we find? So we find in our updated meta-analysis that the estimated average effect, so that's basically the goal, to put some number on the effectiveness. And the number we chose here is an effect size. So that's a bit hard to grasp, but it's basically a scale-free scale. So it's a scale-free unit talking about how large the impact is on the distribution of outcomes. So how much does the knowledge increase, or how much do students respond in changing their behavior? And so this first meta-analysis has found a quite small number on this, but we actually found that depending on how you analyze this, the effect is actually at least 3 times as large as documented in this first meta-analysis. So that's good news. It could be up to 5 times as large, depending on the assumptions you make and the model. That's something I don't have time to talk about. And the results are very robust. So you could also think about whether there's some publication bias in the literature. So could it be that people were just interested to publish the success stories later on and not publish the things that didn't work out well? But that's not the case. So our global review says that actually these interventions work quite well. So this is a visual depiction of this. So back then in this first review, the estimated effect size, which is a scale-free unit, was only 0.018, and you couldn't really rule out the 0 effects. But with the updated data, so this is using the same model, it's already more than 3 times as large, it's 0.07. And with another model, and we do a discussion of this in the paper, it's actually almost 5 times as large. So that's something that you may want to look up in the paper for more detail. We also look at differences across outcome categories, outcome domains, and you can see here the effect on financial knowledge. So if you administer a quiz or a test, that's actually quite large. It's 0.2 standard deviation units, which one could consider to be large. And also on the budgeting and saving effects are quite large, not so much on the handling of credit and debt, and only few studies looking at other outcomes. So by now you may ask yourself, so I've given you this number 0.1, 0.2, so what does it even mean? It's a bit hard to grasp, so because there's no inherent economic meaning, but what we can do is to compare the learning gains and knowledge or the behavior change to studies from other domains. And if you compare the gains in financial knowledge, it's actually quite comparable to studies that focus on math or reading instruction. So the financial education programs studied here are probably just as effective as other interventions in schools aimed to foster math and reading comprehension. And the effect of these programs on student financial behaviors are actually comparable to other meta-analyses of behavior change interventions in other fields, such as anti-smoking, so health interventions, or tailored print health interventions, or energy conservation. So people seem to respond quite different, quite similar to other behavior change interventions. So that's good news. So financial education appears to be just as effective as interventions in other fields. Another way to look at this is to put this effect size, so this would be here, relative to the cost per student. And this is one scheme for interpreting these effect sizes from causal studies, so from experiments by Matthew Kraft. And basically he says that everything below 0.05 is considered to be small. So the first meta-analysis found roughly 0.02, so that's small. But we actually found larger effects, so we are already in the medium category. And for the financial knowledge, we are maybe even in the large effect category. And now that's nice to know, but what really matters is also to put this in perspective. So how much did it cost to deliver these programs? And as you can see here, most of the programs we are actually talking about are low cost in his definition. So there's not a single program that's super costly. So the average cost in this set is like $60 per student. And you can see here everything that's somehow effective, even if the effect is quite small, that's still considered to be in the green. So that's considered to be good. What you don't want is to have a high cost program, which doesn't show any effect, but that's not the case here. And we actually analyzed this in a more systematic way. And what you can also see here is that there's no clear relationship between the cost of the program and the effectiveness. So there are very low cost programs here that cost as little as below $50, which show quite large effects. And there are a lot of high cost programs also in developed countries with adults that are not as effective. So quality matters, of course, but it's not that the barriers to implementing these interventions is very huge. So I think that's quite encouraging that these programs, they are not very expensive as of now, but you can have a lot of impact. So I think that's quite good to know. And that's also an argument that has been missing in the previous interpretation of the evidence. So if you think about education in schools, that there are a lot of things that cost a lot of money that you can change, but financial education today doesn't appear to be one of them. So there's no clear reason to not implement this. So these are my main takeaways. First point is just that the evidence shows that it works surprisingly well from my perspective, and that if you want to make policy recommendations, you should probably interpret these effect sizes relative to the low costs. So considering the low cost, that's actually even more positive. And we also found evidence that effects are actually quite sustainable for at least up to 2 years after students took the course. If you're interested in this finding, I will just refer you to the paper to read this for yourself. So I think my 10 minutes are up. I'm a bit over time, but I guess I will just end the screen sharing now, and I'm looking forward to the highlight videos.
Thank you so much, Tim. Thank you. Financial education works, as we said, as we see, and it's great to see how much effectiveness of financial education can do on students' financial behaviors and other domains, as you said. And yeah, we are proud that Aflatoun is a very low-cost model. And if you have, I'm talking now to our great audience. If you have any questions to Tim, please write them on our YouTube chat, and we'll make sure that we'll address these questions. And also, please read the paper written by Tim, and we can always also share with you the link to the paper. And now, exciting part. Are you curious to see the impact of financial education in practice? Let's dive into Partners Resilience Challenge Awards ceremony. Aflatoun Network is truly global. Over 300 partners implement our programs in over 100 countries. We received video stories from Manila to Bogota, where our partners told us about creative solutions on providing social and financial education during the pandemic. We received videos from all over the world, and let's start with Africa. Let me welcome our global board representative for Anglophone Africa, Patricia Formadi from Ghana, who is the part of global jury evaluating your challenge submissions.
I'm Patricia Formadi, the Anglophone Africa representative on the Aflatoun board. I want to appreciate all who submitted their videos for the challenge that we have gone through the past few weeks. I appreciate your resiliency, making meaning, engaging these children during the new normal, which was very challenging for some of us. I just want to congratulate you and say, keep it up. We need a better generation for the future than we find ourselves in the current. Congratulations once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And now, regional highlights from Anglophone Africa.
Dorcas, Ethiopia. They shared with us a testimonial-style video featuring Blen, a 13-year-old Aflatoun program participant. Blen outlines the importance of the program and what she's learned, explaining the serious issues faced in the community and how the program content highlights various relevant social issues to Aflatoun students. This, in turn, empowers the students with more tools and knowledge to claim their social rights and become necessary agents of change. The program also raised COVID-19 awareness. It was implemented through Telegram, a messaging app, in order to overcome the restrictions caused by the pandemic. Thanks to the continuation of the program, more children like Blen can work towards their dreams. Private Education Development Network. They shared with us various implementations and their impact, namely, the carrying out of community, social, and financial education for vulnerable girls and young women. The students were trained in social skills, financial education, vocational skill training, and sexual reproductive health. 487 out of 500 girls graduated. Community-level clubs and village-saving loan associations were formed, where large sums of money were saved. Community trainers were trained, and enterprises were started as a result of the training. In order to make sure that the young women and girls would attend sessions regularly, PEDN identified venues that were close to their homes and worked together with local institutions who provided spaces where the trainings could be held. Weekly saving sessions were held, a highlight of the training, where girls learned the importance of saving with the aim of starting their own enterprises. During the vocational skills training, the students learned how to make soaps, sanitary pads, and snacks. 487 girls and young women graduated the training with certificates. Many of the young women launched enterprises such as pig farming, food stalls, local restaurants, fishing, hairdressing, and many others. Lilongwe Catholic Health Commission. They highlighted their work with local communities in mobilizing children to participate in Aflatoun clubs, especially in the time of COVID-related school closures. During the pandemic, they adapted meeting times of Aflatoun clubs. Students attended the clubs in shifts in order to ensure safe social distancing. The students engaged in various income-generating activities, such as toy making, pencil drawing, and doormat making. Throughout these activities, the importance of savings was highlighted in order to promote social and financial literacy among the students. Such programs ensure that children and young people have access to an education, even amid a pandemic. We'd like to thank all of the partners that contributed to the challenge, allowing us to highlight the importance of social and financial education.
What wonderful stories, and they're so inspiring. Thank you to all our partners from Anglophone Africa. Continuing our journey across Africa with welcoming speech, Felix, our Global Board Representative for Francophone Africa region, and also a member of our honorable jury.
We had the end of the year 2020. Despite the COVID pandemic, we did our best. I wish you Happy New Year and the best for 2021.
And now moving to regional highlights. Enjoy watching.
Global Institute for Women Empowerment, GWE Group. The Global Institute for Women Empowerment highlight the importance of Aflatoun clubs, especially within the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. They describe the microfinance institutions that they have organized and how they taught digital finance, showing students how to save and make deposits using their smartphones. They emphasize the importance of encouraging skills that promote adaptability to changing circumstances, especially during the pandemic, as well as the importance of social and financial education that drives positive and lasting change. DEFIS. DEFIS shared a brief, informative video raising awareness about COVID-19 and its impact. They underline the ways in which people can employ preventive measures to remain vigilant, even in our daily environments, and reduce the chances of contracting the virus. They advocate for community strength in this time of social distance, emphasizing the importance of protecting ourselves by protecting others. FESN Togo. Their Aflatoun Club took us on a brief tour of their lab center, where they make hydroalcoholic gel, otherwise known as hand sanitizer. After showing the process of how hand sanitizer is made, they highlight the motivation and impact behind its production. The students describe how they saw the elevated prices of hand sanitizer at their local pharmacy. Members of the Aflatoun Club decided to make their own at half the price, allowing for more accessible protection of themselves and their community. With the money earned from their sales, the club has decided to put it in savings and invest in a fun outing with all their fellow club members at the end of the year. Zainu Network. The Zainu Network shared the various activities they carried out to raise awareness against COVID-19 throughout the country. Their awareness campaign was initially planned to reach 5,000 people, but ended up mobilizing over 14,000 people across the national territory. During this time, they taught young leaders financial education, as well as the importance and organization that is necessitated for the creation of income revenue. Solifère RDC. Solifère RDC shared an exciting sketch with us.
Bonjour, chers élèves.
Oui, bonjour, chers visiteurs.
The sketch is about a trainer who teaches a classroom of students how to combat and protect themselves from the spread of the coronavirus in order for social and financial education to be able to continue in full swing. They discuss the importance of respecting COVID-19 guidelines and practicing hygiene, as well as the impact and benefits of saving clubs and financial responsibility.
Merci, chers élèves.
Merci, chers visiteurs.
That was awesome. Thank you, our participants from Francophone Africa region. Moving now to Asia and Asia regional highlights. Welcoming our Global Board Representative for Asia, Brian Lariche. Welcome, Brian.
Hi, everyone. Good evening from Malaysia. Well, it was an absolute pleasure to be on the jury, and it's also very interesting, I think, for me to learn and see, though we are all the same, we are still very different, I think, in our approaches on how we make a video and how we design a video. It was very entertaining for me and also a big learning curve. To my countries in Asia, I think they did an outstanding job. I'm sure the video shortly that's going to be shown is going to be very difficult for the jury to choose which one to put in. But what I especially liked, and I think for all the countries, is that the inclusion of children was very important. Many of the videos included children, and it's about time that we let the children take charge, and in many ways they are very capable of doing this. So more power to them. And I think that we should not look upon this as a challenge as much as a sharing. I think that's what it's all about. It's a sharing of our ability, the sharing of our resilience, and how we're going to move forward. COVID isn't over in many ways. It's going to be here for a long, long time in one way or another. And when COVID-19 is over, unfortunately, there'll be other COVIDs to come, unfortunately. So I think what we learned in this first year of a global pandemic since the Spanish flu 70, 80 years ago is something that we can take and move forward. And the children are, it's good that we expose them to these issues now, that they take charge and move forward. So let's not wait for another global challenge to do more videos. I think the Secretariat and I think the Global Board would love to see more videos from all of you. So keep them coming. And this is how we're going to inform the world of the power of financial literacy. This is how we're going to help change the world for a better place for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Brian. And now let's go and see the highlights from Asia.
Be Better China. Be Better developed 3 episodes of comics called Aflatoun, Fight Against Virus, in aim to help children navigate the COVID-19 pandemic. They continued to carry a Aflatoun online curriculum, all while scaling up and promoting social and financial education to rural and remote schools. Be Better believes social and financial skills are crucial for rural children, especially in the post-pandemic world. They introduced the Aflatoun curriculum in the Jiangxi region, where more than 300 teachers joined their team. Be Better also launched cloud chat activities in order to give students who were seeking jobs guidance. They even used popular platforms like TikTok. They've gained more volunteers and provided social and financial education to more than 1 million children and youth in 2020 alone. This year, their goal is to continue providing quality education for a financially independent generation. Children International, Philippines. Children International Philippines asked students how they were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This gave them a platform to discuss mental health and related concerns that have worsened during this time. Children International Philippines wanted to ensure the continuation of quality education during the pandemic. They delivered digital materials through online sessions, provided allowances to youth, and initiated activities to keep them interacting with each other and their trainers. In 2020, the completion rate of the Aflatoun Plus digital program is 94%. Children and youth learned not only about saving and budgeting, but about critical thinking, gender roles, and being more confident. Students were able to feel empowered by social and financial education, but also mentally and emotionally supported during this difficult time. Most Holy Rosary Multi-Purpose Cooperative. They provided learning videos to support distance learning and social enterprises. They organized a variety of events, included the initiation of a competition to celebrate the 31 years of the Child Rights Convention. They used social media and other online platforms to call for volunteers and delivered learning materials to the homes of students. They created distribution centers for modules and other learning materials. With the Youth Micro-Entrepreneur Program, Most Holy Rosary helped young people start small businesses. Additionally, they created a co-op online store where young people post, sell, and buy products, and a courier Facebook page where people can earn money by delivering purchased products. The Make It Right movement in Malaysia helps the B40 community start their own businesses by following these steps. Primary need analysis, avoiding abbreviations, immersion training, controlling income and expenses, creating an entrepreneurial profile, understanding customers, problem solving and identifying opportunities, understanding the market, business finance basics, and finally, action planning for businesses. Aflatoun International thanks all our partners for their efforts and contributions towards providing quality social and financial education around the world.
What great initiatives our partners from Asia did. Let's now move and highlight our partners from Europe and Central Asia. Let me welcome our Program Manager for Europe and Central Asia, Tatiana van Waveren-Walkova.
Dear colleagues, dear partners, dear friends, on behalf of Aflatoun team, I would like to thank all partners from Europe and Central Asia who participated in Aflatoun Partners Resilience Challenge. Thanks for sharing your stories, thanks for empowering children and young people with financial skills, even through quarantine. And what is most important, thanks for inspiring us and other partners. My special thanks for partners who participated in this competition: kindergartens and teacher training institutions from Ukraine, Habitat from Turkey, Dorcas Aid from Moldova, National Bank of Kyrgyz Republic, and now, finger crossed for the winner.
Thank you, Tatiana. Let's not make you wait and watch the highlights from Europe and Central Asia.
The Ukraine Ministry of Education and Habitat Turkey. The Ukraine Ministry of Education. We received many videos from preschool educational institutions as well as teacher training institutions. During the pandemic, educators made sure that children follow hygiene rules necessary to protect themselves and their peers. Kindergarten number 34 launched an interesting campaign called Economically Fashionable to encourage toddlers to learn basic financial skills, save resources, and develop safely and healthily. Many preschool education institutions also moved to digital learning. They have focused on providing interactive activities to engage children with special needs. Habitat Turkey. Habitat held different campaigns to spread awareness around financial literacy and digital financial literacy. During the COVID pandemic, they started to host their face-to-face trainings online. They also ran programs, trainings, and webinars on the use of digital training applications for their volunteer trainers of I Can Manage My Money, a project for young people, entrepreneurs, blue-collar employees, women cooperatives, and those who are retired. Habitat also engaged many volunteers to help facilitate online workshops on financial literacy. Last but not least, Habitat organized online FinFest festival. The main themes of this event was combating poverty and saving, and there they reached over 70,000 people.
Great. Now we are traveling with you to another continent, wonderful Americas. And let me give the floor to Ana Iris Guzman, our Global Board Representative for Latin America and the Caribbean region. Buenos dias, Ana Iris. You are on mute, Ana Iris.
Buenos días, buenas tardes, good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ana Iris Guzman, co-founder and executive president of Nuestra Escuela in Puerto Rico and Aflatoun's regional representative of the Americas. Buenos días a todos y todas. I'm going to speak in Spanish for the people of my region. Buenos días a todos y todas. Quiero compartir con ustedes que me siento muy honrada de estar aquí en el día de hoy. También me siento muy agradecida de formar parte de la familia de Aflatoun. Celebro que seamos parte de una comunidad de organizaciones capaz de hacer lo que sea necesario para acompañar a nuestros niños, niñas y jóvenes durante su proceso de desarrollo. Y aunque estamos aquí para celebrar, les confieso que yo comencé a celebrar desde que vi el primer video, reflejando el invaluable trabajo de cada una y cada uno de ustedes y la forma en que enfrentaron la inmensa tarea de continuar educando a nuestros niños y niñas a pesar de los desafíos de salud, conectividad y logística presentados nada más y nada menos que por la pandemia más terrible que hemos enfrentado durante los pasados 100 años. Como mujer latinoamericana, les confieso que conocer los rostros que construyen un nuevo mundo a través de los emprendimientos ha aumentado mi compromiso con la posibilidad de que los niños, las niñas y jóvenes de América se desarrollen y vivan plenamente en una región de paz y oportunidades. Les felicito a todos y a todas por el trabajo que han realizado. Sé que esto lo vienen haciendo y lo estarán haciendo para que llegue el momento en el que podamos, hasta que llegue el momento en que podamos volver a abrazarnos. Espero que ese espacio llegue muy pronto a nuestras vidas. Les abrazo a la distancia con todo mi cariño. Muy bien hecho, bravo a todas las organizaciones participantes. I commend you all for the work that you have done. I look forward to a time where we can all be together in the same room and toast your impressive work. Until then, I am sending you many hugs and all my love. Well done and happy Aflatoun's Day.
Happy Aflatoun Day. Thank you so much, Ana Iris, for your warm wishes. Yeah, let's now watch Latin America highlights.
Americas. Fundación Fin Social. Fundación CFA. Child Fund Brazil. Fundación Fin Social. Fundación Fin Social launched a pilot named Ahora y Siempre, Save and Always, social and financial education program at the Child Development Center. Their focus was on adapting education models. The program is aimed at inspiring thousands of young students to become agents of their own lives and communities. They use the following methodology: socialization with parents and guardians through different activities on WhatsApp, 5 hours of teacher training, 44 boys and girls registered and divided into 2 groups, 4 hours of experimental activities with a personal approach with 4 children in one group. They also practiced mindfulness classes for children and focused on a bilingual training model.
La aventura de Aflatoun. Un día, todo cambió.
Fundación CFA. Fundación CFA told us the story of Aflatoun's adventure, the day everything changed. The story takes us to the online learning adventure of children. Aflatoun dreamed that all the children, despite the distance, would interact with one another. They used WhatsApp, Zoom, Meet, and Jitsi. They also did not forget those boys and girls who have not had access to internet. They sent them guides and different learning materials. Aflatoun reached 4,200 students, no matter how close or far they lived. All these activities actively involve family members of children, as family cooperation is one of the key values of their work. Child Fund Brazil. Child Fund Brazil launched the Aflatoun at-home program for children between 7 and 14 years old. Teachers, educators, and local communities were actively involved in developing the program in aims to encourage happiness and enthusiasm throughout the students' learning journey. Children were engaged in creative activities.
Eu sempre participo nas atividades da Ampliar e nós estávamos aprendendo muitas coisas legais, mas por conta dessa pandemia, agora estamos recebendo as atividades em casa do Aflatoun. São conteúdo mais variado, por exemplo, a gente grava vídeos e descobre coisas da comunidade, várias outras coisas.
So were their parents and caregivers. It helped strengthen the community bond during these challenging times.
What incredible initiatives! Please stay with us and also ask us questions if you're watching us from YouTube in the chat, and we'll address them in the end of the session. Last region highlight goes to the Middle East and North Africa region. Let me welcome our global board representative for MENA, Muhannad Jarrah. Hello, Muhannad.
Hi. Wow, I'm so inspired, seeing all this nice and interesting projects. I'm so proud that I'm part of this organization, and most importantly, I'm part of this important network. Really, being part of this journey and seeing all the youth, how they mitigated, really made me very inspired. And it was not easy. It was really difficult for us as judges to really try to find who is going to win. I believe all were winners because we learned from all these projects. We learned how the youth were resilient and how they were able to, come over this pandemic and to do things in a very challenging, environment. I'm so happy of the agility and how the youth were able to come over these challenges in these challenging times. As a design thinker practitioner, I have seen how their services and products were pivoted and how they were able to come up with more innovative ideas to solve this. It was not easy to make the call, but I believe all were winners, and I really wish everybody to sustain their initiative and projects and to go forward. Thank you again, and thank you for allowing me to be part of this important day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Muhannad. Thank you for your words. And now let's go to regional highlights for the Middle East and North Africa.
Enda Inter Arab. As a response to the COVID-19 crisis in Tunisia, Enda launched a Facebook page where people could communicate. They also created a cartoon called Aflatoun Challenges Coronavirus, which aimed to educate children about their role during the pandemic. Aflatoun trainers used online teaching materials to further children engagement. To support children through isolation, ENDA organized a summer program for children that lasted 3 months, where they integrated the Aflatoun curriculum, reaching 100 children. Alongside these activities, ENDA carried out advocacy campaigns for the integration of Aflatoun in the national education program. Currently, ENDA has 33 educators who are active in 33 Aflatoun clubs across 33 schools in Kasserine and Benzart, reaching at least 600 children throughout the area. ENDA and its local partners continue to implement Aflatoun programs in Tunisia for local children, empowering them with social and financial education. Business Excellence Consulting Group. They continued their ongoing project to help short-statured adults in the community. They made handcrafted goods which would later be exhibited, allowing for important representation and equal rights awareness. BECG also conducted online lessons to create a space for brainstorming and dialogue, allowing students to stay in touch with one another and continue Aflatoun training. This year, BECG decided to hold an annual festival on their online platform, where they offered digital marketing classes with the aim of generating income through innovative online activities. Mobaderoun, Syria. Mobaderoun faced many challenges during the pandemic period, but they tried to create opportunities to learn and grow in these exceptional circumstances. They developed context-appropriate guides for online sessions, as well as created annexes related to conflict management. They created a club for young girls who were subjected to violence. Finally, they also developed a corona-specific guide to create awareness about hygiene and ways to prevent the virus. These guides were implemented in several areas throughout Syria with the aid of their local partners. As always, thank you to all Aflatoun partners who continue to contribute to social and financial education of children worldwide.
Incredible journey we just had around the world. And to present our top 3 awardees recognized as the most creative solutions in providing social and financial education during the COVID-19 pandemic, let me give the floor to Redit Abi, our Director of Programs at Aflatoun International. Welcome, Redit.
Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Great initiatives, great videos, and great stories. And Anastasia is putting me in the most difficult space here because it's a transition to announce the winners. But I echo Mohamed, who said we're all winners. It's really difficult to choose from these videos, but we launched it as a contest, and a contest has a winner eventually. But at the end of it all, who wins? The world is the one that's winning. Because of all these initiatives, the world is going to be a better place, in a better place, and it's going to be a place where everyone can live a fruitful and also sustainable life. I think one of the things that we saw while reviewing the videos, and also from what we saw in these different short parts of the videos, there are challenges that we face across the globe. But the challenges are not isolated to a certain community, only one country, but it's shared across in different magnitude. And the response seems to be somehow consistent. In different places, there is the application of technology, home-based schooling, community-based schooling. These are ways of identifying how can we respond to the challenge that we're facing. We received 60 videos, plus I think there are a lot of videos that are also coming in, and we are sharing some of this. But as Aflatoun, we are going to continue collecting more stories and continue sharing with the network. That's also why we exist. As I said, I'll repeat that, we are all the winners, and there will be different forums where we'll be showing and featuring the different videos that we have in the coming weeks and months. Thank you, everyone. Thanks all the partners that are participating in this event, for those partners who took their time to develop the videos, and of course, most importantly, the children and young people who are taking place, participating in this video, and also in the broader Aflatoun program. Thank you, and over to you, Anastasia, to give us the number 1, 2, and 3. Over to you.
Hai, saya Austin. Sejak tahun 2017, saya bergabung di kelas Aflatoun atau kelas PKHLK. Melalui kelas Aflatoun, ada banyak hal yang kami pelajari. Kami membuat celengan dari kardus bekas dan menyisihkan uang jajan kami untuk ditabung di celengan tersebut. Setiap bulannya, kami akan mengantarkan uang tabungan kami tersebut untuk disimpan di bank. Pandemi COVID-19 ini membuat kegiatan kami tidak lagi berjalan seperti dulu. Namun, sekalipun pandemi ini membatasi ruang gerak kami, tetapi kami tidak terbatas dalam berkreasi dan berinovasi. Ada berbagai macam kegiatan yang kami lakukan selama masa COVID ini, seperti menanam sayur, mengeksplorasi diri, mendaur ulang sampah, dan melakukan aksi-aksi sosial lainnya. Kami sangat bangga dengan para pejuang COVID-19 yang tidak pernah kenal lelah untuk membantu masyarakat di wilayah kami demi mencegah dan menangani kasus COVID-19. Sebagai bentuk dukungan kami membuatkan kartu apresiasi sederhana untuk mereka. Kartu-kartu yang kami buat sudah kami berikan ke para tenaga medis, para kepala desa, tim keamanan, dan para petugas lainnya. Saya dan teman-teman selalu melakukan aksi-aksi sosial. Yang sudah kami lakukan adalah mengunjungi panti asuhan, dan di sana kami bermain dan belajar bersama para disabilitas. Kami juga mencari sumbangan berupa uang dan materi lainnya untuk kami sumbangkan ke panti asuhan, para tunanetra, dan untuk korban kebakaran. Kami juga sangat peduli terhadap lingkungan kami. Kami sering melakukan aksi pungut sampah seperti di hutan jati, sungai, pasar, dan di perkampungan. Membersihkan pasar dan melakukan baksos di tempat-tempat ibadah. Kami juga menanam berbagai jenis tanaman di beberapa titik. Salah satunya menanam bambu di pinggir kali untuk mencegah longsor. Semoga pandemi ini segera berakhir dan kami bisa bermain dan belajar dengan bebas lagi. Tetap jaga kesehatan ya.
Tentang keberadaan loko cerdas di desa Nifuboke ini, kita dari pemerintah desa juga menganggarkan insentif untuk pendamping loko cerdas dari APBDes setiap bulannya.
Aku Indonesia, aku bangga jadi anak Aflatoun.
Este año desafió todo lo que conocíamos, nos alejó de nuestras escuelas, amigos y seres queridos. Les quitó a muchas de nuestras familias sus ingresos de forma total o parcial. La calidad de vida principalmente de nuestros niños y jóvenes vulnerables se volvió más frágil, pero nos levantamos. Luego de estar encerrados, salimos con más fuerza, valentía y enfoque. Cada niño con deseos de continuar creciendo y aprendiendo, forjando un futuro con esperanzas y bienestar. En el proceso de formación en educación financiera y emprendimiento, nuestros niños y jóvenes se mostraron motivados e implementaron la siembra de plantas para la sensibilización y respeto hacia el medio ambiente como una iniciativa hacia un mundo sano para todos. En alianza con Aflatoun International, COP-Aspire y el trabajo comunitario, se desarrollaron 8 grupos de autoahorro y trabajamos la inclusión financiera de forma presencial y virtual, participando 38 sectores marginales del Gran Santo Domingo y zonas rurales, donde el acceso a servicios básicos es limitado y los ingresos de las familias dependen de pequeñas iniciativas comerciales. Logrando este año de resiliencia, 643 niños y jóvenes capacitados, 172 aperturas de cuentas de ahorro formales, 61 iniciativas de emprendimiento enfocadas a la obtención de recursos para mejora de calidad de vida de sus familias y cuidado del medio ambiente.
Aflatoun, nous sommes les acteurs de changement. Aflatoun, nous sommes les acteurs de changement. Merci madame. Nous sommes actuellement au sein du laboratoire de production du gel hydroalcoolique. Nous sommes au sein du club Aflatoun. Alors ce club, nous l'avons mis en place au CGZV suite à la formation que nous avons suivie, la formation que nous avons reçue les 13, 14 et 15 octobre 2020 sur le programme Aflatoun. Donc de retour dans notre établissement, nous avons mis en place ce club Aflatoun. Et actuellement, ce club compte au total 104 membres, 104 adhérents au sein du club Aflatoun. Et au sein du CESBV, nous nous sommes fixés 3 objectifs. Le premier objectif, nous sommes fixés 3 objectifs. Le premier objectif, c'est la lutte contre le retard des élèves. Le deuxième objectif, c'est la fabrication et la production du gel hydroalcoolique. Et le troisième objectif, c'est l'épargne et la tontine scolaire. Alors, c'est des élèves qui sont en train de fabriquer, de produire le gel, qui sont en séance de production et de fabrication du gel hydroalcoolique.
Bonsoir notre camarade. Bonsoir. On est là aujourd'hui pour vous présenter comment on fait les choses dans l'établissement à CGZBV dans le membre d'Aflatoun. Et on est là pour vous montrer aussi comment on fait le gel hydroalcoolique. Voici un de mes camarades qui fait le gel hydroalcoolique parce que nous sommes dans le membre Aflatoun. Dans le club Aflatoun. Merci.
Bon. Pourquoi vous avez opté fabriquer le gel hydroalcoolique?
On a fabriqué le gel hydroalcoolique pour vendre ça. Et on a vu que le coronavirus tue beaucoup de gens dans le monde. C'est pour ça qu'on a fait le gel hydroalcoolique pour vendre ça dans l'établissement, dans le sein du club Aflatoun et dans la communauté. C'est pour ça qu'on a fait le gel hydroalcoolique. Et pour vous montrer ça, le gel hydroalcoolique là, tout ça, on va à 100 francs. Et ça, on va à 200. Et on a vu que dans la pharmacie là, les gels hydroalcooliques sont chers. C'est pour ça qu'on a opté de faire le gel hydroalcoolique pour nos camarades. Et si on amène ça dans la communauté, eux aussi, ils peuvent le payer à 100 francs et à 200. Pour se désinfecter les mains. Merci beaucoup.
Congratulations to everyone. This was Togo. Yeah, we had some little technical issues, but I want to add again and say congrats to Togo, LPP, Partner of Child Fund Indonesia, and Aspire from the Dominican Republic. But wow, no words needed. I hope you got inspired by these incredible stories as much as we did. On behalf of the organization committee and Aflatoun International Secretariat in Amsterdam, we want to thank all of our partners who took part in this challenge. That is an incredible part of our network, that we can share our experiences in order to inspire each other and empower children and youth worldwide with quality social and financial education. Let's support each other. And if you're curious to watch all the videos, and we received around 60, go to our YouTube channel. We will leave the link in our YouTube chat and check them out. But that's not the end. We also want to recognize the most creative production, as the challenge was not only about telling the story, but also creating a wonderful way of telling the story. Enjoy, and we'll see you soon.
nome é Carolina Mavaei, sou técnica da ONA Sanana e trabalho com o programa Aflatoun. E para responder ao desafio da pandemia da Covid-19, a ONA Sanana teve que trazer algumas soluções inovadoras, como o DPI em casa, o reforço escolar, a participação dos irmãos e pais no apoio às crianças em casa e também trazer o Aflatoun nas famílias. Para poder dar a cabo a essas soluções inovadoras, a ONA Sanana trouxe capacitações para o grupo que responde a essa necessidade. Os educadores, o comitê, os pais, assim como alguns professores da escola primária. E basicamente os educadores levam atividades já prontas, onde elas recorrem ao programa Aflatoun para as crianças pequenas e realizam com as crianças, falando, por exemplo, do valor da família, falando da poupança de recursos como água, alimentos, materiais e roupa. Mas também o comitê faz acompanhamento das crianças da escola primária. Este acompanhamento responde à questão da transição que a ONA Sanana sempre promoveu, onde eles fazem esse reforço, trazendo atividades ou exercícios para que as crianças resolvam em casa. Isso ajuda as crianças a se tornarem independentes, mas também a preparar-se para o sucesso e para um resultado positivo em termos de transição para as classes subsequentes. Para isso, temos o apoio dos professores que corrigem esses exercícios e trazem novos exercícios que serão realizados a partir de casa.
Durante a pandemia, a escola elaborou fichas, entregou às educadoras e as educadoras, por sua vez, com a colaboração do comitê, levaram as fichas até as crianças.
A ONA Sanana já partilhou o novo programa Aflatoun, que irá acontecer nas escolinhas, nas escolas e na comunidade em geral. E mesmo que as aulas não retomem tão já, a ONA Sanana irá garantir que essas atividades aconteçam recorrendo às soluções inovadoras já mencionadas.
Congratulations, Bona Sanana from Mozambique. What a wonderful story. Thank you so much once again to everyone who watched us and who was here with us sharing these amazing moments. Happy Aflatoun Day, happy Global Money Week. It's been a very challenging year, but we all made it together and we collaborated and cooperated. Share, inspire, empower.
Separate fiction from fact. Explore, think, investigate, and act. Make a change around the world. It's our choice as an Aflatoun boy and girl. I'm aware of what my rights are and how these can bring me so far. But I know my duties well too. I'm an empowered child. Separate fiction from fact. Explore, think, investigate, and act. Make a change around the world. It's our choice as an Aflatoun boy and girl. I'm aware of what my rights are and how these can bring me so far. But I know my duties well too. I'm an empowered child.
Gracias, buen día.
Gracias. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you for joining. You guys are amazing.
Bye, everyone.
everyone. Thanks.